Submitting college applications takes time and money, so how many applications should you turn in? How many are too many, and how many are too few? Hi, I'm Margaret Meek, and this is how many college applications you should submit. One of the most personal questions that needs to be asked as you work through your college application process is, how many completed applications should I submit? This is a personal question because there is no one-size-fits-all answer. Some of you should submit 10 applications to colleges, while others are well served to file 3 applications. So what is the magic formula? Very simply, you need to apply to the number of schools that are necessary to allow for you to have a choice in where you attend. Apply to schools you know you can afford or from which you wish to receive clarification on what the school offers in financial support. Apply to schools that have room for your skills, abilities, and experiences. Apply to schools that have the programs you wish to study. And do all this while balancing the cost of applications and the time it takes to complete these applications. Okay, so it isn't quite so simple or magic, but the number of applications you need to submit will become much more apparent if you work through these steps. The most important note you need to receive from this message is you have to do your homework on colleges before you apply. If you're a high school freshman or sophomore, start now. Begin a list of schools that seem interesting to you. Start using their websites to measure what that school has to offer you academically, financially, and as a community. You can practice your campus visit skills by watching online videos or visiting a nearby campus just to see what it's like to walk a college campus. Begin to put together the list of decision points that are important to your college selection. This can be housing types, urban versus small town, academic departments, tuition rates, financial aid types, semester versus quarter versus trimester, campus organizations, support services offered, or any other issues that are important to you. Turn these points into a spreadsheet so you can measure campuses as you collect information. To see an example of what this spreadsheet can look like, go to our website linked in the description and see our offering. Change this form to reflect what is important to you. If you're a junior, take the list that you have compiled and start looking for more specific information. Meet with college admissions counselors who visit your high school. Attend college fairs and ask your high school counselors for their advice on what should be added or subtracted from your spreadsheet. Then spend time reviewing websites and visiting schools to see how the campus feels. Once you become a senior and have collected the information necessary, you need to prioritize the schools that interest you the most. Then determine how many you can afford to apply to, and then complete the applications. As you are determining how many applications to file, make sure you know yourself what will make you feel comfortable in school. This is where the list of small versus large, urban versus small town, in-state versus out-of-state, and distance from home all come into question. You can have a mix of schools on your application list, but if they are all outside what you think will allow you to feel comfortable, your final selection will be among schools that won't make you happy. The application process. Are you able to use the common or coalition applications, or do the schools have their own process? If the school uses the common application, do they have a supplemental essay or additional information that must be submitted? What are you looking for in a college? If you are looking for a specific academic program or community structure, measure schools against that list. Also make sure you measure the school's priorities as well as your own. Read their statements, measure how they react to student leadership and emergency situations. See if their priorities match yours. As you create your spreadsheet of information on the schools you are investigating, start to classify them into one of 3 categories: safety school, target school, or reach school. Safety schools are those schools whose admission standards meet your qualifications. These are schools that would offer you a very high percentage of opportunity for admissions. They are schools you should be happy attending, but are not necessarily high on your list of choices. These schools are within your budget when considering tuition, fees, living costs, financial aid, and the scholarships to which you are planning to apply. Target schools are the schools you would be excited to attend. They may be a bit harder to get into, but your qualifications line up well with the school's stated grade, test score, and experience thresholds for admissions. These schools may require a bit more financial assistance to meet your budget, so you may need to work harder on finding financial support if you choose to attend. Reach schools are those schools that admit a small percentage of those who apply. You may not match their desired qualifications as closely as the safety or target schools, but being admitted to these schools would be exciting for your academic career. These schools may not be in your budget at first glance, but generally, the more selective the school is in their admission standards, the more financial aid they offer students who are accepted. How many schools should fit within each category? That is up to a few factors such as the quality of your matches. Are you a strong candidate for each school? And is each school somewhere you can really see yourself as a part of the community? How much time do you have to put into applications? While the Common Application makes multiple submissions easier, it also takes time to write supplemental essays and provide any extra information requested by each school. The time is increased even further if you need to submit an application specialized for that school. Do you have the time to invest in a large number of schools? Your chances of being accepted for admissions in any college goes up if you submit a quality application. So there is a balance between the quantity of applications submitted and the quality of those applications. The cost of applying. Application fees range in cost and generally are tied to the acceptance rate of the school. Schools with a lower acceptance rate cost more in application fees. Generally, the cost is $50 to $70 per school just to apply. There are free application days in some states, for some schools, or through special programs. Ask each school's admissions counselor if such an opportunity exists. If not, you may need to limit your applications based on your budget. Remember, you also need to figure in the cost of providing your standardized test scores to each school that requires them. This can add $10 to $15 to your applications, and you still have to add in the cost of supplying your transcripts. Only applying to schools that have academic programs you are interested in studying. If you have a few courses of studies that interest you, but you can't decide which to pursue at this point, it is suggested that you apply to colleges that offer all of those options. If the school provides all of the majors that interest you, it is easier to change your major without losing credits should you have to transfer to another school. And the number of applications you submit may be tied to the timing of the application deadlines. Know the application deadline for every school that interests you. Then learn more about early action and early decision deadlines. If you apply for an early decision, the school accepting you requires that you attend that school. You are not encouraged to file more than one early decision application. You can file other early action applications as you don't have to commit to an early action school to which you apply. If your applications are not successful in the early period, you can then file other applications in time for the regular application deadline. Being able to file a few applications in the early period when you are most busy with high school allows you time to fill out more applications over the semester break so that you can submit more applications in time for the regular deadline. Finally, the largest number of schools receiving your application should fall into the target category. Throughout the application process, you need to remember that college is a commodity, just like anything else you purchase. Do the work to make sure the schools receiving your applications are worthy of your time and money. Be a wise shopper. Conversely, recognize that your application to each school needs to reflect your attributes. The application needs to match the school. No application you submit should be less than your best effort. And if, after all this, you decide that you want to submit only one application to a school you love, whose qualifications list strongly matches your qualifications, and that you know you will be happy to attend, just remember to file an early action application. This will allow you to file more applications if your dreams take a detour with a rejection or waitlist letter from the school you love. Be ready with a plan B. You have completed your applications and sent them all in. Now what? Continue to collect any information you can on the schools which received your applications. Note any missing information that will be important to your selection, and then set about finding that information. When you receive multiple acceptances, you need to be prepared to evaluate the financial aid offers and accept the lucky college you will be attending. Please work with your high school counselor as you develop your list and complete your applications. You also need to make sure your family has an understanding of your plans. You have a support system around you. Take advantage of their wisdom and insight. There is no universal number of schools to which every student should apply. There is only the perfect number for your comfort level and your ability to collect more information on each school. Choose wisely. If you found this video useful, hit the like button and perhaps consider subscribing. And if you have any questions, let us know in the comments down below.